Consider the following: Wednesday, September 4th, 2013. The Gift of Satan. 2 Corinthians 12, 7-10 from the New Living Translation. Even though I have received such wonderful revelations from God, so to keep me from becoming proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness." So now I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I can take pleasure in my weakness, and in the insults, hardships, and persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. We've all heard it before, but why didn't we recognize it for what it says? God gave Paul an extraordinary vision of heaven. It was so miraculous, he's not even allowed to talk about it. 2 Corinthians 12:4 from the New Living Translation says that I was caught up to paradise and heard things so astounding that they cannot be expressed in words, things no human is allowed to tell. Seems that Paul has had an off-the-chart, earth-shattering spiritual experience. This is so special that apparently it doesn't put you into a humble, contemplative, nigh into vegetative state of near nirvana, but rather, being given a glimpse into heaven could make you a bit sinful. In fact, the whole experience might lead to pride, the old chestnut that kicked it all off in the garden with Eve and her hubby Adam. So here Paul is again, a bit like Adam, in paradise, and the upshot is that he might get a big head again. So what do you do to deal with that? Send in Satan. Well, maybe not actually Satan, but a messenger for him. And what is the role of this gift of Satan's messenger? Torment. And the purpose of torment is to keep Paul humble, to sort of counteract the trip to heaven. Now this torment thing is no cakewalk. It must hurt, for it's been a topic of conversation on a few occasions between Paul and God. And what's the answer? God says, 2 Corinthians 12:9, each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness." So now I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me. So let me sum it up so far. God gives Paul the opportunity to see paradise and some things that are unspeakable. This experience makes Paul more prone to pride, sin. God gives Paul a tormenting messenger from Satan to keep him humble. Paul finds this rather difficult and repeatedly requests that the torment stop. God says his grace is all Paul needs, and God's power works best in weakness. Now we all want God's power to work real good now, so weakness should be the order of the day. God's power doesn't work in your strength. When was the last time you prayed for torment? Torment from Satan, no less. When was the last time you prayed for weakness? Do you want God's power? Do you want God's power to work real good? Well, how about a bit of weakness, anyone? You not only should want the grace of God, but in fact you desperately need the grace of God. To get more grace, to get God's power, you need weakness. Hope this made you rethink visions, grace, suffering, power, and strength. It did me. Now then, I thought I was done, but this little revelation about Paul's torment made me ask a few fundamental questions. Snakes in the garden kind of questions, and for that matter, Satan in the wilderness tempting Jesus because God led him there kind of questions. And lest we forget, Jesus praying 3 times for the cup of torment on the cross to be removed too might fit into this group of questions. See, God, from Adam to Jesus, and even through to Paul, possibly aka us, put people in a position to really, really need him. Knock out all the props so that there is nowhere else to turn seems to be the plan. This isn't an oddity, an aberration, or a one-off. And we are talking God here, so it's not like it's negotiable or even up for discussion. I mean, like Jesus and Paul, you can raise your concern, but in the end, it's going to be there, staring you in the face day after day. You can protest, fight, ignore, or give in, but in the end, you only have one option, to submit now or submit later. So what's it going to be?